This is F121. This is the mainstream racing series. This is race number 8 of 23 in Hungary, in Magyarország, near Budapest. Jó estét! Good evening from Hungary to our midfield battle here. We are in race 8, means we have just entered the middle third, the intermediate sector of our season, so to speak. And yeah, it's an exciting season again, like always in MIS. And today is an exciting day. Today is the day we finally received Imola. Woohoo! Finally, long time wait has now come to an end. But usually a day where earlier an update came out is mostly not a good day to race, and so we will have to wait and see if everything works well. We have already heard from up to 3 drivers that they might be out for tonight due to internet connection issues, not downloading the update quickly enough and all that stuff. But scratch the 3, it's just 2, because one of them is in here, that is Monster XD9000 Jeppe Nielsen, and it is an important thing that he is in here, as he is one of our championship contenders, one of the among the leaders, and it would be very sad if he was unable to race with us just because his game isn't updated in time. So what we do tonight, we have an 18 minutes qualifying followed by 35 laps in Hungary. Let's have a short look about what we will do here tonight. This is the track. As I said, Magyarország on the outskirts of Budapest. I was there twice. This is indirectly one of my two indirect home races, I want to call it. 14 turns, 4.4 kilometers of length, so one of the shorter tracks, therefore one of the more laps, a higher amount of laps. Lap record from Lewis Hamilton from last year, 116.6, but that should be blasted by our race drivers by a few seconds. Track difficulty is hard, yes, because it is one turn after the next. Session timer is already ticking. These are the rules and flags. We use regular corner cut. We do not want our races to be decided by penalty seconds too much. And the Hungarian track, where we are on our way now. The Hungarian track, I said it, lots of turns, but not a track where you can cut so much of corners, so you do not have a big advantage from corner cutting. It's more like for 2 or 3 turns where you can exceed the track limits a little bit, so that is the more important thing about the regular corner cut stringency. But okay, we will see what this race brings us. I remember the second MIS season, we had the Magyarország, the Budapest track, as our season opener. It was a really cool race in the last season, and here we are now in the Hungarian pit lane. It is fair weather, at least dry, a bit cloudy but dry. That is what matters the most. We have 17 drivers. That is okay. We had a bit more, I think 1 or 2 more guys who checked in, but I mentioned it, the update issues for some of the guys, so 17 is still a pretty strong number. First one out is FX Chef, Gregory Mortier. There he is. In the Williams, our cook, the chef. So as you know me, I always stay with the first one who goes out to get a feel for the track that we race on. And that is always the first thing to do. Have a look at our office, our workplace for tonight, at least for the drivers and a little bit for me. He is right here in the middle sector, one turn after the next, left and right and left and right. It's very important to have a good rhythm in there. But it's a different character. It's not like the S's of Suzuka, not like the rebuilt S's of Suzuka in Austin. Different character of turns, and here we sat on board. Here we sit down on his shoulder and watch him deliver us the first hot lap of this qualifying, the long main straight that was actually prolonged. Oh, he missed the apex in turn 1. Here's already right the next DRS zone. The main straight is a DRS zone, and this short stretch right here. And Opossum Keo Laubik is already out, and where he stands, I think he crashed, and there is turn 4 that caused so much of discussion and right because of that. Because you can easily exceed track limits. Here in turn 5 it's difficult, you cannot take too much of inside curb. Then the only real chicane, and now here we are in the middle sector, turn after turn after turn, left and right and left and right. And here's still yellow blinking, but there's still a wheel from Opossum, and he is already in the last sector. That is actually pretty short, a right, a left and a right. Penultimate turn right here, short stretch, and then the last turn that is really difficult. And right here on this hill was where I was standing and cheering to my idol Michael Schumacher in the 90s when I was here in Mogirot. So we have seen the time of Gregory Mortier being not really competitive. 3 seconds, over 3 seconds now behind Samixna, Jack Rockner, and a new provisional pole setter. But we saw that Mortier didn't catch the apex in turn 1, so there is still something to find on times for Mortier in the ongoing 14 minutes. We have a new pole setter, that is Jeppe Nielsen in the Red Bull. And we have some drivers, some people joining our chat box here tonight. And this is Peter Simpson, Simo Simpson. Good evening to you too. Nice that you found your way into the chat box. But it's even more sad, makes me sad that you are not in the grid tonight. We see Storm72 UK, who is replacing you in the McLaren. Peter Simpson sadly not available tonight because his update of the game didn't download quickly enough. That was what I mentioned earlier. Racing on an update day is sometimes not so good, and for Simo, it struck Simo, our champion of season 2, and Simo is being replaced by Storm72 UK. It's actually a pretty close name. I admit that Storm72 UK was the person I mentioned earlier in our chat with Simo when I asked him if he just subscribed to me by today, because I expected Storm72_UK to be him, as he has a similar name and a _UK in his name. But okay, this Stormy driver is quite fast, 3.5 tenths behind Jeppe Nielsen, giving him provisional P4 here in this qualifying. As mentioned, the Opossum Keo Laubik is already out. And we have 3 drivers who did not set time yet. That is Mirko Caruso, Mark Goodman, and Ash Rider, both the Alfa Romeos, and Grimo Goodman is enduring some internet connection issues. At least I saw him leaving the session. I hope that he is with us again tonight or right now. He is sitting in the pit. Yeah, right when I speak about it, Grimo has rejoined. Good evening to you two, Mr. Mond and Ruman, the winner of Australia, and the one standard driver that is left in the McLaren team. And Ruman, the only person around who has even better F1 knowledge as myself, regularly correcting me on some minor little details. Well, we see Gary, who is a bit jumpy. He seems to be jumpy. Hope this will improve when we turn towards the race. In the qualifying, it's not that important, but in the race, it's really an unpleasant feeling for the driver ahead or behind if you cannot trust the game that this car is where this car is. And Caruso is out. Mikko Caruso is out. The next one, who maybe found a wall somewhere. Oh yeah, there is a wheel still on the road. A soft tire that the track marshals forgot to clean. So I read somewhere that this update from today or last week held some online improvements, some online bug fixes, but the bug is still there that tires remain on the track when a car is crashed. So yeah, typical Codemasters work. Yeah, just giving us some new stuff to wonder about week in and week out. Grimo has rejoined. I hope that now he will be able to stay with us and get out of his pits and onto a hard lap. Let's see what Jack Rognan is doing. He is in 5th. He was provisional pole setter a bit earlier. Coming towards the end of Sector 2 after this right-hander. Oh, improving. Almost 2/10. Maybe he'll have a bit of traffic. Asher Rider it is. Right now it's not affecting him, I would like to say. No, did not affect him, I think. Maybe a bit of slipstream even here. And some slight improvement, but not enough to really get something forward in his direction. Here's a look at the Haas of Stuart McDonald, just starting his second hot lap. Slight improvement for McDonald at the end of Sector 1, half a tenth it was. But some intense slide there in the chicane in Sector 2, and I suppose that he has lost all the time. All his improvements just vanished. Dylan Chapman, meanwhile, Leonard Cam, intense trouble there on the exit of turn 11. So this is not a competitive lap. I suppose that he will return to his pit and yes, change the tire and try again. That is just what he does. We have seen a spin from Iggy Lai after turn 1 on the acceleration out of turn 1. And we have now... Yeah, Dylan Chapman, I mentioned it, up into second, half a second behind Jeppe Nielsen, so rather big at the moment behind Nielsen. And then it's pretty close between Chapman, Walsh, Dominic Walsh, Storm, Rognan, and maybe Igilai. That's just 3/10. P2 to P6, just 3/10. Gary in 7th, quite a good result for him. And then Tom Walsh, Mike Taylor, and Ash Ryder tried on medium. So we see Tom Walsh, bronze medal winner of season 1 and 2. And in this year, guess where he is? In 3rd, of course. But it's rather close. So with 6 minutes remaining, let's have a look at our driver's standings. Dominic Walsh is leading. The champion of season 1 is leading with 109 points. That means he's 13 over Jeppe Nielsen, and Jeppe Nielsen is 13 over the older brother of Dom Walsh, that is Risman, Tom Walsh. So twice 13 points of gap. And in 4th, Dylan Chapman, who is sitting in 2nd here in the qualifying. Let's have a look what the medium tire time brings for Tom Walsh. But it is P9. Not sure if that will be good enough for him. Not sure if he will really sacrifice so many positions on the starting grid only to start on the yellow tire. What could give him, what indeed could give him some strategy advantage, but he's down by many positions behind his 2 main rivals then, as Nielsen and his brother are in 1st and 3rd. Yeah, so Dylan Chapman is 38 points behind Dominic Walsh in the overall standings. 38, that's not so much as well. P4 doesn't look so good, but 38 points is not so much. That is possible to make up, especially as we still have 2/3 of our season ahead of us. And in the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes is leading the way with Dominic Walsh and Dylan Chapman with 181 points. Pretty smooth sailing, pretty comfortable. Cushion 77 points, the cushion on the Red Bulls with Jeppe Nielsen and Vincent Hartmans. But, and that is a big problem, Vincent Hartmans hasn't been here very often lately. The Karma Joker, and he is not in here tonight as well. So the Red Bulls are really struggling team-wise a bit, as it is almost only Jeppe Nielsen who acquires points. The Red Bulls have 104 points on their account, and from those 104 points, 96 go on the account of Jeppe Nielsen. So there are of course a lot of midfield battles, but I'll not scoot down through all of these position battles as it is still too early in the season. Let's just hope, cross finger to everyone, that things will go smoothly. I'm a bit worried about Grimo, as he obviously still is not able to drive. While we are watching Leonard Cam, Stuart McDonald still fighting with track limits here. He is improving, but that would give him maybe P8 or 9, somewhere around that. And then he is already finished. With 2 minutes on the clock, he will not make it back into the pits and go out on fresh tires again. Yes, he's 8th, just ahead of Blake Gary. Let's have a look. Who is on a hot lap? Who is potentially chasing times? Let's have a look what Ash Rider is doing. Improving by 4/10 in his Alfa Romeo, but that would not give him any improvement on the starting grid. So he seems like more or less finished there already in P13. Oh no, have a look. Big improvement in the last sector, up into 8th. Wow. So that means that he must have had a big mistake in the last sector of his formerly posted hot lap. Yeah, but he's finished. He is maximally in 8th. Let's have a look who is on a hot lap. Storm has pushed himself up into the front starting row. Storm 72 in 2nd. 2.5 tenths behind Jeppe Nielsen, but still a very good time. But he's finished. Storm should be finished. I suppose he'll not have enough time to post another hot lap. Andrew Mond is just on the start. There's actually not many drivers who are still able to improve, but Andrew Mond is one of them. Level after sector 1. The Monster, then Tom Walsh, Nevis Ikic, and the very last one will be Jeppe Nielsen to improve their times. Andrew Mond, who's that behind? Oh, that is Jeppe Nielsen, but Nielsen is on an outlap. Oh, by the way, yes, of course, the white Red Bull. Have a look at the white Red Bull. What a beautiful design. Andrew Mond now is finished. No improvement anymore possible for him. What is Tom Walsh doing? He must make up a lot of time. He's not down to 13 as Chapman is 3rd. Eli pushed up into 4th. Dominic Walsh only 5th. And where will the older Walsh brother be? Jeppe Nielsen is finished. Could not make it over the line quickly enough. Oh, Thomas Walsh improving by 8/10. But he has to improve by a lot as his time before was posted on mediums, so it's obvious that the softs are faster. And with this time he would be somewhere close to his brother, somewhere on P5. What will it be? I didn't see it, but it was over P5. Better than P5. Was a good lap in the end for Thomas Walsh, but not good enough for the pole. So this is our starting grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Jeppe Nielsen in the pole, followed by Storm. And in the second starting row, Thomas Walsh, there he is in P3. Dylan Chapman in 4th, Eli 5th, 6th goes to Dominic Walsh. P7, Jack Rocknian, 8th, Mike Taylor, 9th is Nevis Ikic, P10 is Ash Ryder, then 3 tire options onward here from Leonard Cam, Stuart McDonald his name, then 12th Blake Gary, 13 Andrew Mond, 14 Gregory Mortier, 15 Keo Lowick, no time set for him, likewise Tomiko Caruso and Mark Goodman, who had some jumping in, jumping out internet issues. So our drivers have half a minute of time to set their tire strategy, and I will be back as soon as we head to the installation lab. So, lap 0 of 38, Mont and Lauvik touched, so they are already disqualified. We'll have to start on cold tires. That is a bit of a problem then. Let's have a look about the tires. Have a look. This is shows which tire strategy will be the better one. The top 10 have to start on softs, and no one else starts on softs who doesn't have to. P11 onwards, everyone on mediums, as a one-stop strategy is just the much faster one on this track, and you just cannot go through on a one-stop from soft to hard, at least in the old game. I haven't seen or watched or broadcasted a Grand Prix on F1 21 in Hungary yet, so let's see how this will turn out. And right when I speak about it, the tire strategy presented by the Amazon Web Services, and Pirelli says a one-stop is possible from soft to hard. So we will have to wait and see about that. But what is even more important, I am very sure that we will see a handful of safety cars here tonight, and those safety car phases can of course alter the strategy a lot. We will have to wait and see how things will turn out in the end. And now the 5 red lights, and then the Hungarian Grand Prix of MAS. Here we go in Budapest. Good start from from Jeppe Nielsen, but even better from Storm. Have a look, Storm already attacking him on the inside. Storm should be through after turn 1. And then Thomas Walsh in third. Nielsen, the Storm, now Nielsen on the inside. Yeah, Nielsen has fought back his P1. And then in the background, good start from Rogner, and bad one from Dylan Chapman. And in the background, there is a VSC because something has happened. Something happened somewhere in the background. Oh, we see front wing damage here on the car of Len Notcam. He is penalized, and Mike Taylor too. So this damage was probably from a tag from under VSC, and Dominic Walsh is down to 11th. The big loser of the start, definitely the Mercedes driver of Dominic Walsh. How big is that? Our overall leader is out of the points after lap 1. Still not sure why we saw this VSC. There is the reason. There is the reason. Andrew Mont is lacking a nose, and likewise is Cremo Goodman. Mont and Goodman somehow, somewhere collided, and we are now under green condition. And we see pit stops, but even more important, Storm is close to Nielsen. We see pit stops, and multiple pit stops. Leonard Cam, Gary, Caruso, Mont is out. Oh no, Andrew Mont is out. That is sad. As far as I see it, Andrew Mont retired in the pit lane, so that means something was terribly wrong for him. Not sure what that was about, but I think or hope that Andrew Mont will tell us very soon here in the chat box, and hopefully follow the race here with us on the stream. And now it seems that Storm cannot follow Jeppe Nielsen anymore. Nielsen is trying to distance him a bit. We see some tire swaps in the midfield, Ikic and Lauik. Next fastest lap from Jeppe Nielsen, 1:18.9. And then everyone is following. The eyes should be activated right now. And that will work. Disadvantageous for Rocknan in 5th and Ryder in 8th. So not a lot going on right now. Just everyone trying to match each other's pace, and yeah, some DRS terrain will evolve, I suppose. Jagger Rocknan has to try everything to get into the 1 second window, otherwise he will be chewed up from Chapman and Mike Taylor sooner or later. And now, does Chapman drop out? Rocknan did not make it in. Chapman now looks inside the DS window. He should be... yes. Yes. So that could get messy for Rocknan on the long term. Oop. Mike Taylor. Wave goodbye out of the 1 second window. A little too late on the brake there in turn 1. He now needs to make up a attempt to get back into the one minute window. He's right on the edge here right now. Looks pretty smoothly how he's through here. And there's someone out. There's someone out. This is Ash Ryder. After this turn, there is a heavily wrecked as Alfa Romeo. Gary is too far away to show it to us, and we have us the first safety car of tonight. First safety car of tonight. I could imagine that there might be some soft runners who will pit now. Shake off their unpleasant, unwilled softs. Oh yes, Nielsen goes through, but Storm is in. Walsh through. Lai is in. Oh, and Opossum is out. Keolawik is out. Keolawik is out. Grimo drive-through penalty, speeding under safety car. And there is... have a look. There is a Ferrari wrecked during a safety car phase. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So we have seen the first pitters. Storm has opted for hards. Wow, soft to hard already by now. That is very early. Not sure if he can make it on such a long stint. And Leonard Cam and Grimo already opted for hards before this safety car phase. Grimo now has to go through, drive through, but just after the safety car, so he will be down by a lot. A few fresh mediums. Iggy Lai, Rocknan, Dominic Walsh, Mike Taylor, and Nevis Ekic. Up. Oh, Grimo, yeah, okay. While Leonard can march through the grass. Grimo is out, but he did not give up. Grimo crashed. We have two drivers who threw away their car during a safety car phase. Interesting, didn't see that very often as well. And pit stop from Gary now. Could potentially be a new nose he needs. No. What's that now? Yellow to yellow. Not sure what that was about. Yeah, anyway, we will have us one lap of safety car, and I will be back with you in a moment. So the safety car will be in this lap. Interesting thing is that we did not see a crash on the start, but still there are now 4 drivers out after just 6 laps. 2 of them crashed during the safety car. It's really a bit strange. But now we are back to green, we are back to racing, and Jeppe Nielsen leads the way ahead of Tom Walsh and Dylan Chapman. FX Chef, that's Gregory Mortier, the top 4 still racing on their starting tire. And for Mortier, this is actually a pretty good spot, as he is on the better strategy, but already dropped the position here to Storm. Ooh, big crash in the background, and this was FX Chef, Gregory Mortier. I just said that he is in a good spot. And right when I said it, he crashed out heavily. I suppose he got on the grass on his left-hand side on acceleration and then heavily collided into the barrier on the right side. Looked really cruel. Anyway, this is still the lead, still the battle for the lead between Jeppe Nielsen and Thomas Walsh. Walsh is able to follow Nielsen, at least for the moment, something around 7.5 tenths the gap. So he follows him in his DRS window. The gaps are still rather close throughout the whole field, when DRS will be activated very soon. The only one who will not be DRS equipped is then only Dylan Chapman, and that could get very messy for him. That's him in the Mercedes. And now Nevis Ilkic, just 2 drivers who will not be able to open up the rear wing on the long straight, and especially on such a long straight, this is very important. So, DRS enabled, and Chapman is almost 2 seconds now behind Tom Walsh, so the top duel will just walk away, I suppose. Only way the others can catch up to them is probably when they start fighting and lose time, or when their tires might degrade. Chapper's now already away by over 2 seconds. Yeah, Gregory Mortier, welcome to the chat box. Oh no, we had a crash. Right when I looked in the chat box, that was Stuart McDonald and Mirko Caruso shooting each other out after turn 3. Sure, and that means after just 1/3 of the race, not even 1/3, we are down to only 10 race drivers. So, yeah, pit stops now, yeah. Nielsen in, Walsh in. And Jeppe Nielsen picked up a +5 seconds penalty, speeding in the pit lane. And that could get very costly in the end. Nielsen will finish the race from here onwards on hards. Tom Walsh and Chapman both go on fresh mediums. No one else has stopped, but the tires were rather fresh, so not really necessary for anyone else to stop. Yeah, so here we are again behind Bernd Mailander, who will have himself one more lap. Yes, one more lap, lights still flashing, and I'm back in a moment. So here's the message from race control: safety car in this lap. And then, yeah, we have 2/3 of the race still ahead of us, and we're down to only 10. Means that whoever makes it through the race will be given points in the end. And Storm it is this time, our reserve, who is giving his inaugural race for MIS tonight, is leading the race, is leading the way here on this restart, and he did it pretty well. No chance for an attack from Igilai or Rognan behind. But the Stormy driver is on hard, and as both Lai and Rognan, and yeah, actually everyone behind him is racing on mediums, it could mean that he might lose time, or he might be in trouble sooner or later. Oops. Igilai, a little bit the slide over the track limits there. And that brings in Rognan in the Ruski Haas. Already fourth again is Dominic Walsh. He had this big lapse on the start. Oh, yellow! Blake Gary spun. Blake Gary spun. Does he need a pit stop? No. Just losing the rear, but nothing else. Yeah, it was that Dominic Walsh in fourth, our overall leader. Had a bad start, but right now he would be best result from our leaders, so he would even increase his lead. But that's just how things stand at the 1/3 mark. Fifth, and Mark Taylor coming up multiple positions, but backed up due to DNFs, of course. Same goes for Nevis Ikic in sixth in the Alpha Tauri. And then Jeppe Nielsen, that will be interesting. Can he go through? Yeah, well, I guess he can go through on hards from now on. But can he be fast enough? Or will there be some additional safety car phase later in the race? He looks very close here to Nevis Ikic, DRS enabled, and I really like this white Red Bull livery, really cool. And attack from Jeppe Nielsen, and he is through. Can he hold it? Ikic on the inside? Nope, no chance for Ikic. I really like this white Red Bull livery, really cool. Really cool stuff. Let's see how long it will be in the game. How long it will be white Red Bull until we turn back to dark blue sooner or later. I suppose that with any next update we will go back to the classic Red Bull colors then. Yeah, 7th Nevis Ikic. Oh, that was Mike Taylor. Mike Taylor went through the grass there, returned to the track. And swapped positions with his teammate Tom Walsh. And now even lost another position against Dylan Chapman. And pits. Let's stay with Mike Taylor here for a moment, as there is nothing big to depict anyway. We saw him. He needs to do nose. Okay, we saw him running through the grass, and it's not only about tires. He needed a new front wing as well, so he is going on hards now, and we'll go through the race. And ooh, that was Jeppe Nielsen. Jeppe Nielsen, who has spun. And he has front wing damage. He has a front wing damage. He was somewhere around Nevis Ikic. Maybe he was a bit too aggressive on attacking Ikic and lost an end plate on his right hand side. So he tries whatever he can to return to his pits. Nothing lost yet, he will make points. There will be another safety car phase, that is pretty sure. Okay. Alright. So he is out, we were live with him. Yeah, I suppose that he was just not enjoying his race anymore. It's a bit sad because it would have been easy points to acquire, and now he will drop down a little bit further against the Walshes in the overall standings, and we are down to 9 drivers left and have another safety car phase. Pit stop for Blake Gary. Yeah, and I will be back with you in a moment. So I expect the safety car to come in at the end of this lap. We still see Storm leading, Igilai second, because Dominic Walsh and Nevis Ikic pitted. Gary we saw already, and Dom Walsh and Ikic did so too. They have opted for fresh mediums. They can go through the race on this set. Igilai got himself a 5 seconds penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Not really sure what that means. Safety car will be in at the end of this lap. Third safety car stint is about to end. Storm still leading the way on his scrumped parts. Likewise 11 laps Igilai on his mediums, and Rocknian 11 laps on his mediums as well. And we are back to racing. Here we go. Good restart from Storm. No chance for an attack from Lai or Rocknian. So not really any position swaps after this restart. Nope, just smooth sailing right now. Although the safety car phases, it looks like those 9 remaining drivers have a more or less pretty good race rhythm now. Dylan Chapman looks close to Thomas Walsh. Everyone is in the 1 second DRS window. Only Iggy Lai may be about to drop out. That is interesting because Lai is on the faster medium tire than Storm ahead. So 1 more lap and then DRS will be activated again. Not really anything getting forward for him. Then we see Dominic Walsh, who is chasing Mike Taylor and Blake Gary. All of them will go through on their set, so Dom Walsh needs to overtake them on the track. But Walsh is racing with a faster tire compared to the other 2 boys. Oh, Mike Taylor, bit of a slide there, but he has just no chance to overtake. You can see 1 turn after the next, no chance to go wheel to wheel to place yourself alongside the other driver. No, this doesn't make sense here. Again, there's actually really only sector 1, the long straights and the 2 or 3 following turns. It's the only places on this track where you can overtake. But Mike Taylor will be DRS equipped as well, as Blake Gary is still ahead of him. Means Dom Walsh will not have a big DRS effect on him. He's showing himself left and right, but no chance yet. And Nimes Ekic behind isn't far away either. So if Walsh takes too much of risk, he might be swallowed up from the AlphaTauri from behind. So that will be interesting. Dominic Walsh, our overall leader, would make only 4 points right now. Nielsen already out. Tom Walsh in 4th. He will make up most of the points of our top 3. So that means that things get closer. The top 3 top runners get squeezed together a bit. What will make it even more interesting on long term? I think there was a bit of a tag. Yes, there was a tag. There were 2 tags between Mike Taylor and it was Blake Gary, I think. Iggy Lai, 5 seconds penalty, speeding in the pit lane. He needs to get himself fresh tires after 15 laps on the mediums. While Dominic Walsh is up into 6, while overtaking Mike Taylor, who dropped behind Ekic as well, and now Walsh is battling Gary. Oh, this is a really hard spot to overtake, but he pulled through. And now Gary in the grasp of Ekic. Yeah, well, you Arab name that I cannot read or pronounce. Thanks for checking into our chat box. Enjoy the stream. While we see Nevisekic following Blake Gary, who is more stable on internet connection now, at least compared to the qualifying. It is important here for Ekic. But Gary is sliding a little bit here, a little bit there. Always a slight wiggle out of the turn there again. Mike Taylor in the pits. Gary left and right, just like Alonso did in his same car. Cut back inside for Gary, but better lane now for Ikic. And Ikic is through. Is he through? Yes, he is. Now he is. Good phase between those two boys. Hard but fair fights. Oh, Gary needed the exit there in the chicane. And Tom Walsh is now 3 seconds behind Storm, or other way around. Storm has pulled away by 3 seconds from Tom Walsh, and even though Storm is running on the slower hards tire. Interesting. That is interesting. Oh, yellow in sector 2. That must be Mike Taylor. Yes. Mike Taylor. So here is another interesting battle group. This is Tom Walsh supplying DRS for Rocknan, Chapman, Tom Walsh. The Walsh is sandwich. Walsh in front and Walsh in the back, at least of this sandwich. No error allowed now as we turn towards the final third of this Grand Prix. No error allowed for any one of these boys. Slightest mistake and you drop down multiple positions. Yeah, I think it's more or less safe to say that Storm will be the race winner in the end, as long as he doesn't throw it away. As long as there is maybe not another safety car phase that could cripple his chances, but in normal condition he will or should just stay ahead. The question is, who will follow him onto the podium? Right now it looks like Tom Walsh and Rocknan, but that is not decided yet. But it looks like the two Mercedes boys will rather start fighting each other instead of attacking the two drivers ahead. So it's a big wait and see for anything to happen. This four-man battle group filmed to us from the camera view of Dominic Walsh, but it looks like, yeah, okay, now he is close enough. Now he will attack his teammates, but he's still there. Wheel to wheel to turn 1. Now he is through. Yes, he is. And maybe Zikic behind isn't far away either, so that could be the next thing. The next opponent upcoming from behind for Dylan Chapman. Dominic Walsh, our overall leader in 4th, would make 12 points now, but Thomas Walsh would make up 6. Yeah, Nielsen will be the big loser of the race, at least among our top-notch group. But okay, he just needed to stay with us. Everyone who finishes gets points, even if his race wasn't good, even if he just finished in 8th or 7th, that would still have been better than a 0 points result. And those 2, 4, 3 points or so that he missed tonight might potentially be costly at the end of the season. Dylan Chapman now pitting. He will... No. Who is it? Ah, there he is. Yep, there he is. Medium to medium. He did not dare to finish the race on soft. Still 10 laps to go. He did not think that mediums could make this distance. And that makes this battle group a threesome now anymore. Rognan in the Walsh sandwich. 3 drivers pretty close. 2 of those 3 will be allowed to step on the podium, probably next to Storm. But who will it be of them? And behind, have a look, Nevis Ikic has crawled up into the DRS window, just barely, but he is in. And as soon as those drivers here in front start fighting, Ikic might be in the DRS, in the podium discussion as well. All of a sudden, maybe. So right here in these phases, the dirty air effect is really big and really unpleasant. But those drivers here look like they are pretty much in the groove. They are in rhythm. Oh, yellow in sector 2 and Gary is out. Blake Gary has crashed right here in the chicane, and we have another safety car. There is the Red Bull. Wrecked Alpine, of course. Yep, okay. Safety car number, what is it? 3 or 4? And let's... Oh, that could be big. Storm is pitting. And Rognan too. And Walsh goes through. Both the Walshes go through. Oh, that will be interesting. That will be interesting. Storm on fresh mediums. I expected him to go on softs. And Dominic Walsh catches a drive-through penalty. Oh no. He will be devastated now behind his wheel. Oh my. Dominic Walsh was in the discussion for a podium. He was maybe even in the position to win the race, potentially. And now he will be last, at least last of those who are still in here. Means he will be 8th in the end, our overall leader. And that will mean that Tom Walsh, his older brother, just one room away from him, will be the big winner of tonight, whatever happens. He looks like he could be the potential winner, but even if he doesn't win, even if he doesn't win, he will make up a lot of points on both Jeppe Nielsen and his brother Dominic Walsh in the overall standings. And not to forget, we have seen pit stops from Storm. He opted for mediums. Interesting, he did not trust softs to make it over the distance, and Rognan did the other way around. Jack Rognan will finish the last 8 laps then on fresh softs. So he will have the fastest tire there on the restart. And likewise softs then for Mike Taylor in 8th. And I will be back with you shortly. So after this lap, it's then only 6 laps remaining, 4 of them with DRS enabled. And the man we are focusing here right now, he will be the hottest driver in the end on the restart. Safety car in this lap, just as expected. Jag Rognan in 5th on his fresh softs. What can he do? What will he be able to deliver on this set of softs? Tom Walsh, sadly, we can ignore. He will drop down to last after serving his drive-through penalty. So the restart, still tire warming up for Thomas Walsh, and here we are back to green after the 3rd safety car. Dominic Walsh still comfortably ahead by a second over his brother, and in 3rd Nevis Ikic did not dare to attack, but that caused almost Storm to run into his rear. Have a look how dense it is. Storm, Rognan, Iggy Lai, all of them very close. And ahead, Dominic Walsh isn't that far away either. I was a bit surprised how far away he was on the restart from his brother. But now he's a little bit closer. Everyone in each other's DS window, of course, but there is one more lap without DRS. And then the final 4 laps we will have DRS activated for then potentially everyone. And when will Dom Walsh serve his drive-through penalty? Iggy Lai has a 5 seconds penalty, I think. Oh, 10, double plus 5. Iggy Lai. Walsh's in. Dom Walsh serves his penalty right in the first possibility. And that, have a look. Tom Walsh first and Nevis Ikic is in 2nd. And then Storm 3rd. I mentioned, I said just a few laps ago that Storm will be the race winner if he doesn't throw it away, and he opted to stop on the safety car. And let's see if that was a good idea or not. Well, if not, he would race now on old hards, so he would even easier be chewed up by everyone behind. So he actually could only lose on this safety car phase. And here we are on board with the very fast pass of Rognan. Pass and very fast, that only happens in a virtual world, of course. But right now he is the hottest driver in the field. And behind him now Iggy Lai, Mike Taylor, Iggy Lai battling. Now it's Taylor again who is ahead. Ooh, and have a look at this gaggle. This is for the lead. This is for the lead and the podium. DRS enabled the final 4 laps. And what kind of a firework those 4 laps will be. Late on the break here, Rockman, but it all went well. Chapman overtook Lai, so behind there is quite some stuff going on too. But let's focus on this front battle here. The top 4 are all within 1 second. Thomas Walsh on his old mediums leading the way, but we know that he is good in nursing tires home. I remember one rainy race, where he spent the entire race on Inters, and Ikic committed a little bit of a mistake, and I think pushed out Rockman a little bit. So the driver I mentioned, who has the fastest tires, was a bit pushed off the track, maybe. Not sure if I saw it right. Oh, and he needs a pit stop. Rockman has front wing damage, and that ruins his race here late. And now it is Storm attacking Thomas Walsh. There is the victory chance for Storm again, and he should push through. Yes, he did. So he's the leader again, and this is the battle from Taylor against Ikic. Ikic from 5th to 2nd to 4th. A lot of up and down for Nevis Ikic here in the late stages of the race, but still smells like a good result for Ikic. And Mike Taylor, the other driver who was on softs, is now on the podium. Have a look, both the Aston Martins are on podium course. What an interesting, what an exciting, almost insane end of the race this is. And Storm is in the lead again. So he made the best out of the situation he was in. And now this will be interesting. Mike Taylor and Tom Walsh are 2 pretty good teammates. They know very well how to drive in a team strategic way. I am interested now what Mike Taylor will do. Will he stay behind his teammate? Because Thomas Walsh is in the championship battle, or will he dare to attack? Ooh, have a look, have a look. What did I say? Good teammates. Mike Taylor just squashed off Tom Walsh, just pushed through. It was almost a slap in the face of his teammate, and that gives him P2. Mike Taylor and Tom Walsh are the only teammates who have already had 1 year together with each other. Their teams are drawn, so new teammate couples every year, but they are, I think, the only drivers who have already been teammates before. Oop, big slide there from Taylor. Oh, it's not over yet for him. And have a look, Storm already away by 2.5 seconds, even though Taylor has the fastest soft tire. And what will Tom Walsh do? We are in our last lap. Storm back in the lead, he will win it. Just as expected, and then drop back, and then on the lead again, in the lead again, the reserve driver who gives his inaugural race here tonight for MIS. Then both the Aston Martins, Nevis Ikic in 4th. This is not settled as well. Have a look how close it is, so close. This is the result when you have a late safety car in the race. Everything and every position is up for grasp in the final laps. but especially in these phases here of the track, it is unlikely that there will be some sorts of overtake left. But first and most important, after a difficult race, in his first race for MIS, this is the victory for Mr. Storm 72 UK. Mike Taylor then gets home second, stealing 3 points from his teammate. And in P3, then Thomas Walsh, good result, 15 valuable points onto his account, making up 9 points on his brother, and making up 15 points on Jeppe Nielsen, what should mean that Nielsen will be relegated into third, and Tom Walsh will be up into second then in our overall standings. And the last one to start finish rates, the last one to see the checkered flag is this man, Iggy Lai, in last. Last doesn't sound so nice, but for today it means that the last position earns 4 points. Here is the forgot his name, not Jarno Opmer, but is it Jarno Opmer? No. Anyway, just the avatar from Storm with his digital champagne shower. This is our final result after the Hungarian Grand Prix. Storm 72 has won, ahead of both the Aston Martins, Mike Taylor after 4 stops in second, and Thomas Walsh after 1 stop in third. Fourth is then Nevis Ikic, good result for him. Fifth, Dylan Chapman. 6 goes to Dominic Walsh. 7th, Jack Rocknayan. Last finisher is Iggy Lai in P8. Not finished, we have Blake Gary, Jeppe Nielsen, Stuart McDonald, Mirko Caruso, Gregory Mortier, Mark Goodman, Keo Lauvik, Asher Ryder, and Andrew Mount. So this was the Hungarian Grand Prix. Bit strange Grand Prix, bit of lot up and down, many safety car phases. But okay, this is just Hungary. We will be back next Wednesday evening, 7:30 p.m. UK, 8:30 p.m. Continental. The stream goes online about 5 minutes earlier. If you want to be notified from YouTube, just hit the subscribe button and you will get a message from YouTube once we get going. And next week is a very special week, because then we will turn to Portimao, Portugal. For the first time in MRS history, we race on the brand new track in Portimao. Thanks for being with us. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Seb Bauer and glad you were here with us tonight. Have a nice evening. Have a good week. See you again hopefully next Wednesday. And keep racing.